What would you say when you were boring, quote unquote, what would you say is the biggest change that you personally made in regards to how you were showing up, other than you talk about vulnerability, but was there something else that you did specifically as an influence strategy?
Good question. I think that one of the mental tricks I used was a game changer, and this happened accidentally. So for a long time, I used to think I have to impress people, right? I have to think of a really funny story to tell, or I have to ask the best possible questions, or I have to share really impressive anecdotes. And that is one way of doing it, right? People can be impressed by impressive anecdotes. Funny stories always kill in a room, right? That always works. What was a real game changer, though, was I was asked to do a panel at a conference. And so I was going to lead the panel of these really, I thought, big VIPs. And so I was like, oh my gosh, these are huge VIPs. How am I going to lead this panel? And they gave me very little time to prepare. The person who was supposed to moderate the panel wasn't available. So like, Vanessa, can you step in and do it? I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't prepared any questions. I hadn't done any research. So I had like 10 to 15 minutes in the green room with all these VIPs before we walked out on stage. And they're like, just chit chat for a while, come up with some good questions, and then go out on stage and introduce them. So I had 15 minutes where I definitely didn't want to be impressive. I needed them to impress me, right? I needed to ask them very specific questions to be able to introduce them each well. And then I also needed to find some kind of hot button topics to talk about on stage. And that completely shifted my mindset in how I was asking them questions. I was searching for ways for them to impress me. And that was an aha moment, because not only did we have a great conversation in the green room, right? Really fascinating, interesting things I learned about these VIPs I had never heard before. We had a great time on stage. And they said to me, you asked a bunch of questions that we had never been asked before. And that was a moment where from then on I thought, okay, instead of walking into a conversation and thinking, I want to impress them, I want to be impressive, which is what most of us do with networking events, with VIPs and meetings. The opposite is, how can I meet people and let them impress me? What questions can I ask? So when I meet someone, typically, and this is not a fair interaction because you're interviewing me, but normally if we would have met at a party, I would be pretending that I was about to interview on stage and imagining what questions I have to ask you to solicit any of those interesting nuggets out of you. That would be the mentality. And that was a real game changer.